Okay, my name is Brian Eliesel. This is the self-intro speech titled Who Says There's Life After Baseball. It was my first semester of college. I was 18. A bunch of the guys and I, from our high school, we were all pretty decent, pretty good ball players. I pitched. Had a lot of fun. Getting to college was kind of tough for me. Played baseball in Tulsa. Didn't quite work out here. I don't know if I wasn't good enough or whatever, but anyways. Moved to Kansas, where I played ball there, a little town called Hoisington. Played ball 2 years at high school there. Had a good run. Still have the record for most hits batsman. As a pitcher, that was a pretty cool record, I think. But anyways, played ball there 2 years. Didn't have any offers for scholarships. Thought it was kind of a weird deal. A bunch of my buddies were going to college. I was kind of bummed. Legion ball came around in the summertime, and we had a good run that year. Made it to state. Won a couple games. Didn't win, but won a couple games, which was cool. But last 2 home games we had that year, we had a scout come out from Pratt Community College, and I got lucky. I wasn't supposed to pitch. The guy that went in that started didn't do a very good job, so I got to go in. Shut down 3 straight guys, 2 strikeouts, and a ground out, I think it was. But anyways, after the game, he called me up, and I think it was like a week afterwards. He called me and said, "Hey, we don't have any scholarships left, but if you want, you can come out and you can walk on. Something happens, maybe we'll see what happens." But so I said, all right. So I went, and it was fun. First couple weeks were awesome. We had a whole bunch of guys from just the diversity of that baseball team was awesome. We had guys from Louisiana, a whole bunch of big old buff black guys that were just hilarious. Dorm life was awesome. The first weeks we'd sit up there and talk about baseball and how cause we had the one of the #1 coaches in the state that came to our school. He was the pitching coach for Wichita State before he came to Pratt. And if you know anything about Wichita State baseball, they're pretty good. So we were pretty excited, talked about baseball and what we wanted to do with the team, how far we wanted to go, what we thought we could do. We thought we could get to a World Series for community colleges. We thought we could do it. Who knows? So I always really loved baseball. It was really kind of my sport. Basically because I couldn't play anything else. Mom wouldn't let me. Most of the reason that is because I had a congenital heart problem when I was a kid. I had heart surgery. Couldn't really do any of the strenuous sports, so the wussy sports like baseball and golf were always kind of my favorite ones. But I remember watching people like Nolan Ryan, especially pitchers, Nolan Ryan, Greg Maddux, especially Randy Johnson. I always thought that he was the coolest guy. You could watch him on the mound, and a dude would just stare you down, and he could just scare you into swinging the bat or not swinging the bat. I swear I'd watch guys pee their pants while he was pitching. He was just a neat guy. Plus he had a mullet and a nasty stash, so that was pretty neat. But a baseball player was really all I ever really thought about being. I never really wanted to be anything else, Never ever really wanted to work. I mean, who wants to work? Baseball's fun. So, I'd lay awake at night in my dorm, and, it sounds weird, but I'd pray, hey, God, hook me up, man. I just want to play baseball, And kind of weird, I guess, to pray for that, but it happened a lot. So through practice, semester time comes around. Half the semester's over. Practice is going really well. We had our first live scrimmage practice. Did really well. Was kind of surprised because I was kind of nervous, being that guy that just barely got his scholarship. Was kind of nervous about things, so it went well. I mean, my first inning, I got 1 inning. I struck 2 guys out and had a ground out. So it went well. Coach came up after practice and said, "Hey man, I wasn't really expecting that. That's great." So, I really pumped my head full of everything. I thought I was the greatest after that. But anyway, so as practice goes on, our daily regimen for practice really was we'd get up in the morning, we'd run 4 miles, we'd go to school. After classes, we'd go to practice, sprints. Didn't really throw a whole lot. I mean, it was more than running than anything. And then after practice, we'd run 3 more miles, which always was terrible because I couldn't run. I guess I picked the wrong thing to do. Should have been a catcher. Anyways, practice one day, ran a little long, so we were running kind of at dusk. I was on the last leg of my lap and I collapsed. didn't know what happened, just turned, everything went black. I had no idea what was going on. Kind of freaked me out, had some guys run over, picked me up, didn't know what was going on, so I freaked out, called my mom, obviously right away, who was still in Tulsa. She said, well, why don't you come up, we'll go to the doctor, get things checked out. I'm like, okay, let's go. So get to Tulsa, had some tests done, EKGs, echocardiograms, things like that, and it was all inconclusive, of course. I knew what it was, obviously, we all did. But so they sent us to Rochester, Minnesota. We get there, same kind of deals, EKGs, echoes, stress tests, all that stuff. Heart cath, which was terrible, worst thing I've ever experienced. Found out the hole was back, had to have surgery again, so obviously that was fun. Kind of turned everything upside down. I wanted to play baseball, that was obviously over. So now real life kind of had to sink in, and who knows what was going to happen. So I moved back to Tulsa with Mom, recovery time. Took a while, I don't really remember exactly how long it was, 2 months, 3 months, something like that, before I decided I needed to go back to work and try and get things back going on. Well, decided I wanted to go work at Chuck E. Cheese again. I'd worked there previously.
Okay.
Well, I do got
The green was on the other side.
Now, I know we're not supposed to start and stop recordings, but my wife ran out of memory on her iPad, so we had to do it. I don't know any other way to do it, so just picking up where I left off. When I went back to Chuck E. Cheese to work, what I was saying was that I didn't know it at the time, but I met the love of my life there. She ended up, we dated for a while, she ended up being the mother of my children. My best friend, and we've been married for 11 some years now, if I remember right. I don't know, I'm a guy, what do you say? Anyways, we've been, like I said, we've been happily married. Our kids are great. We're just involved in everything they do, so I thank God every day for what I have now. So, I know my life would have been different had I played baseball, had I gone and done something else, had things turned out different for me. The Lord works in mysterious ways, I guess. And, Garth Brooks, I guess, said it best when he said some of God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. Thanks.